What it is, cuckolds, it's your boy once again, Hater Outdoors. I'm a little bit sad because quite frankly, the Cody Rhodes video that I did, which apparently is a smash hit, like your boy expected, it made me a little sad because it's like, what is there to look forward to in wrestling, right? It's like, at this point, it's just that cuckold dropping the title as soon as possible, you know? Beyond that, we're just out here hanging around waiting for things to happen. You know, it really is at this point just holding the belt hostage. The Triple H method of booking, right? The slow and steady method of booking means that by the time the next WWE 2K game comes out, we will be in the same exact predicament that we have been with this WWE 2K game, meaning that the ratings will stay exactly where they were because nobody has moved up or down the card. With the exception, I suppose, of Gunther. That's the only one. Everybody else is just there, right? Nobody else has improved substantially from any of this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You could say what you want, but these are the realities, cuckolds. Now, with all of this being said, there are a few bright spots, right? There are a few bright spots that could be opening up in the future, right? Number one, you know, there's a few new signings. Personally, I'm looking forward to the likes of the Motor City Machine Guns finally getting a WWE run. You know, we had Alex Shelley in NXT for like a couple of weeks back in the day, but Chris Sabin also deserves an opportunity, right? I'm not saying these guys are going to take the world by storm. They're in their 40s after all. But they can still go. And, you know, it's almost like weird for a tag team of that profile to never be tag team champions, right? I personally think they're two of the standouts from TNA all time. So that makes me happy. I would have liked to have seen Beer Money. I don't know why they didn't do that. Instead, they're like, oh, let's put Bobby Roode with Dolph Ziggler for no reason. How about just fire Dolph Ziggler, pay James Storm whatever the hell he wants, and bring in Beer Money? You know, like, you would make money off of that. Just the t-shirt sales alone would have done it. In addition, we have the return of the Viking Raiders. I expect this to be a complete disaster and a flop, and I expect them to eventually find their way back to NXT where they can feud with the Good Brothers, but nevertheless, they are coming back. But here's the one that really piques my curiosity, cucks. That is the tag team. I mean, they're going to at least be a tag team initially, of Pentagon and Rey Fenix, which I'm sure will be called something else. But whatever, it is what it is. These guys are excellent. You know what I mean? In my opinion, Rey Fenix is the best luchador since Rey Mysterio. I'm talking about like real luchadors, not like Eddie Guerrero. You know what I mean? Like real like masked guy, you know. He's the guy that can do the most things. There's a few other ones now, like Commander, and like, yeah, there's a few other ones, but generally speaking, he is that dude, you know? So I'm very excited for him. And with respect to Pentagon, there was a point in time when Lucha Underground was just starting out, right? And then eventually they introduced Pentagon, and I would have put Pentagon as like a top 5 wrestler of that year. Pentagon was awesome. He had an incredible feud. He had incredible moves. You know, the little arm breaker thing he does is awesome. Like that was like a thing that he would do like after the match, or in very rare cases during the match, and it was presented as this like move that is meant to injure you, which is exactly what it should be used like, right? So these guys, I mean, I'm not very optimistic about them because chances are they're going to be like put in a random ass situation and they're going to be forced to like, maybe that's who they're going to like tag team against. Maybe like Los Garza is going to wrestle the two luchadors, because you know how WWE works. They're like, oh, these two guys are from Mexico. These two other guys are also from Mexico. Let's have them put on a match, right? And, you know, to some degree, the Lucha Bros, which that's like the worst name ever. The Lucha Bros are going to have a different name, hopefully, right? But like, these guys are a scary tag team because Pentagon is willing to like maim you, you know what I mean? He's willing to like end your career. So that could be interesting. Hopefully it's that. Wow, maybe I stumbled upon something, right? Now, beyond that though, the current crop of WWE wrestlers is inferior. That's why they are recruiting heavily from other companies, right? Think about it this way for a second, right? Just think about it this way. You know, you have, let's talk about 2 tag teams on NXT. Idris Enofe and the other guy, and Bronco Nima and the other guy. I don't know their partners' names, and quite frankly, I don't care, right? These are two solid tag teams. Like, there's nothing special about them necessarily, but there's also nothing bad about them. Like, Bronco Nima and the other guy deserve to get a push. They're these two big-ass, intimidating type dudes, right? Get rid of, like, their manager and all that stupid crap and just have them go out there and just beat people's asses. You know what I mean? They can be like another version of the AOP at worst. You know, you have the AOP, speaking of, right? Who was brought back into obscurity. You know, you have Idris Enofe and the other guy, which I just mentioned, right? You have people that are there, homegrown talents, but you have no faith in them, so you supplement them with other tag teams from the independents, right? Now, granted, I like the tag teams from the independents that I mentioned, but nevertheless, the fact stands, right? So I fear that the same thing is going to happen, as it's already kind of happening, in NXT, right? NXT has produced no stars. The two biggest stars of the year in NXT, the breakout stars, if you will, are Ethan Page, obviously, because he became the champion, and he's new, and he comes from a different company. And I believe in Joe Hendry. You know, that guy is also, like, a new guy. You know what I mean? Like, he might get signed by NXT, but it doesn't matter, right? It's like, he's like in his 30s. You've got plenty of guys there that you can push. You know, Tony D'Angelo has been demoted to the mid-card title, right? You've got Obafemi, who also has been, I mean, I don't want to say demoted. Maybe now he'll go after the NXT world title, but, you know, he's actually primed for that because, like, he lost with a roll-up. So it's, you know what I mean? It's not this, like, he didn't, like, get his ass beat, right? He just lost, and now he can say, okay, that was a fluke. He can pretty much do what Gunther did. Lose the mid-card title, then go after the world title, right? But even then, it's like there seems to be no actual, if you will, plan, because it's like if you have someone that good, same thing with Braun Breaker. If you have someone that's that good, like Braun Breaker, or that good, quote unquote, as they would have us believe Obafemi is, it's like, why don't you just push these guys, skyrocket them to the main roster, right? Like, I can understand for younger guys like them, it might, you know, you might need some time, but it's like, you know, do you see Obafemi having a presence on the main roster? I really don't, you know what I mean? I see him as doing, like, what the Obafemis of the world do. Like, I see him having a Baron Corbin-esque career, right? He's just like Baron Corbin, like, you know, the Obafemis of the world, the Baron Corbins of the world, right? Remember when people thought Baron Corbin was going to be this, like, massive superstar? And honestly, the comparisons between the two are very solid because Obafemi is a big, strong guy. Baron Corbin is a big, strong guy. Baron Corbin, on top of this, is legit. He's a former Golden Gloves and a grappling champion. Like, this guy could beat the shit out of basically everybody in this company, except for, like, you know, Lashley and, like, you know, the people that are just beyond him, right? But at the end of the day, even though they have, like, an interesting look, like, it can't be denied, right? Like, Obafemi, we don't see many people that are that size and that have that look, right? And we don't see many people like Baron Corbin either. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, they also have significant shortcomings, right? So Baron Corbin, he just looks like shit, right? Like, he's got tattoos, he's got an interesting look, like I said. But fundamentally, the truth of the matter is that Baron Corbin doesn't get it right? He's out of shape. He's not, you know, like, he's out of shape. I mean, let's call it like it is. Like, he takes off his shirt and you're like, this guy needs to do some crunches, right? And same thing with Obafemi. These guys both are in the same context, right? Now, you know, the point I'm trying to make is exactly that. Is that basically Obafemi and Baron Corbin, even though Baron Corbin's not on NXT, I wouldn't be surprised if they put him back there again. But the point is, these guys are going to get supplemented. They're going to get supplanted by new people, right? They're going to hire, like, the Beast Mortos, I don't know who. They're going to hire somebody else, and that somebody else is going to then take their spot, right? Because everybody in NXT, and largely most people on Raw and SmackDown, are basically placeholders, right? It's like, believe me, I don't think that Triple H or whoever the hell really is in charge, I don't think that they have any aspirations that Bo Dallas is going to be a big draw, right? But they just put him there until they find someone better. The problem is, the system through which they find someone better is flawed. It's problematic. It's not good, and as a result, they need to look elsewhere, right? They need to look at Hammerstone. They need to look at all the Josh Alexander. They need to look at other people from other companies who they can at least present as having some cachet, right, with respect to their abilities and their booking, right? They don't have that yet, and as a result, we find ourselves compromised, right? As I just showed with the example of the tag teams. In short, motherfucks, the situation is bleak, right? Like, the outlook is not good. The outlook is not positive. Nothing good is happening. And as a result, we find ourselves completely and utterly screwed, waiting for a hero to come and save us. But a hero will not arrive anytime soon. Cuckolds.